what we're going to do is we're going to fill in a little time because we have a tour of the facilities planned. We were going to do 2 different tours, but I think we're going to just do one at 11 o'clock. And so when the program really starts is when you guys come back from the tour, the physical tour. I've seen the tour before, and believe me, it's really overwhelming. There's a lot of infrastructure here. The majority of the things that you guys will see, some of you may have seen some stuff on a smaller scale, but the stuff that you're going to see, I'm hoping you guys will have some questions for these guys. Because when I went to the tour, for a slightly younger group of folks, they were overwhelmed. They didn't know what they were looking at. I mean, servers for all the satellite stuff, everything that you can imagine from audio to connected apps. If you guys are able to be engaged enough, it really will help us to be able to come back in the future. So again, just be, kind of looking at how, this is kind of how AT&T really makes their money. This will be the hub for a lot of the stuff that's broadcast distribution. Other things that I really want to be able to do for right now is to see if we can kind of pass the mic and see if we can find out who's in the room. Okay? So I'm going to go left to right. And one of the persons that I'm going to start with, he's going to be part of the program. So do not give it all away, but I'm going to start over here.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Well, give him a round of applause for putting this together. It's amazing, yeah. I don't want to give away too much. I'm a comedian, so you never want to give your joke before you're going to give the joke. But ultimately, I'm the founder and director of the Easter Sales Disability Film Challenge. I'm an actor, comedian, and producer, but you're going to hear me talk a lot more about that later on. But it's a weekend film competition where you make a film over the course of a weekend that has somebody with a disability in front of or behind the camera. Our incentives really, I think, outdo every other, film festival kind of opportunity. We give out grants through Universal Pictures. We give out Dell computers. We give out mentor meetings with executives, agents, Oscar nominees, and Phil Lord, who's the writer, director, producer of amazing Spider-Man Into the Uverse. He may be winning that Oscar. Anyways, I'm going to keep it going for everybody else. I can't wait to meet people here.
Okay. All right, great. All right, actually stand up if you can. Yeah, we want to make sure we know who's in the room.
Hi, I'm Dylan Howard. I'm a film major at Cal State LA, and I'm studying screenwriting as my pathway. And I'm really excited about what we have today. It's completely new, so.
Okay, great. Pass the mic. Stand up, please.
Hello, my name is Veronica Pollack. I also attend Cal State LA. I also am a screenwriting emphasis, so I hope to get into the writing pathway, or writing industry. But yeah, film's my passion, that's why I'm here, so that's me.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Guardado. I'm a student at Cal State LA. I hope to someday be a director, and I'm excited to be here.
Hi everyone, my name is Rahul. I'm also part of Cal State LA, and I'm in the production pathway, and my passion is editing and cinematography, and I'm excited to be here.
Hi, my name is Eric, and I am on my last semester for Cal State LA, and pretty much I'm a content creator. Nice to meet everybody.
Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer. I'm an editor-director, and currently what I'm doing is I'm editing for Emmy Award-winning Jerry Sure, and yeah, I'm really excited to meet all of you guys.
Hi, I'm Sabrina. I also attend Cal State LA, and my focus is on screenwriting, and I'm really excited to meet all you guys today.
Hi everyone, I'm Rex Reyes. I'm currently a student at the American Film Institute. I'm a producing fellow, and I'm going to speak to you later today about a current project I'm working on. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Bon Collet. I sit on the board of one of the sponsored nonprofit organizations for the event. I'm also a filmmaker, producer for film and television.
Hi, I'm Rodelia Shaw. I teach media production at Santa Monica College. I'm also a filmmaker.
Hello, my name is Lisa. I'm a content creator. I think the most general umbrella, but I work in live events too, primarily sports. Worked on some films, completed some books, and a lot of different sorts of projects.
Come on, camera guys also, man. Nobody.
You talk about behind the camera, look at me. Yeah. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Dominic Coakley. I'm a SMC student. I'm a filmmaker / media maker. I like to do photography and I like to edit. So that's what I like to do, and I'm very happy that I'm here to meet all you guys.
Hello. Hey, there we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Sterling, like Silver. I'm at Long Beach, majoring in film production. I'm also in photography, and I make music. And I'm excited to meet everyone.
Hi guys, my name is Floyd. I also go to Cal State Long Beach, and I'm actually a finance major, but really happy to be here for the opportunity. It's a great chance to learn more.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt, I'm from UCLA, and I actually study business economics. Don't really have too many connections to the film space, but I'm just really excited to be here to meet all of you guys and support Kevin. This is like a really cool thing you're putting on, so thank you, we appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Sachi. I'm following the trend of not really being in the film space, so I'm a math major at UCLA, but I'm also super excited to be here.
Hi, I'm Kunal. I'm also, again, not in filmmaking at the moment, but very interested, currently an engineer. Yes.
Hi, my name is Rosie, and I'm also with Cal State LA, and I'm a film major, and my emphasis is on writing.
Rosie, where are you from?
Cal State LA?
Cal State.
Hi, I'm Nefertari Brooks. I'm a film major at SMC. My focus is screenwriting and production sound.
I'm a producer, and I'm a student at SMC in film and media. Glad to be here. Okay.
We're going to buy a little time. We're going to have this tour at 11 o'clock. I'm really excited about this tour. Let me give you a little context to who I am in relationship to AT&T. I've been doing what I've been doing in the community as a community transactionist for almost 30 years. The name of our foundation, Dakar Media Academy, Dakar Foundation for the Performing Arts, we started it 2 weeks after my nephew was born. He was born with a heart defect, and they gave him 18 years to live. Got a man-made heart, and so we count down the days, years, minutes actually, to when he was going to expire. So we wanted to give something to him as a living legacy. He wound up living to the age of 29. He died 2 years ago on his birthday. So for me, this has been a project, a passion, a program that has fueled me being able to meet people at the K through 12 level, community college, 4-year, and beyond, to try and find ways to get some formula that I can share about how people can get better at being mentors. My whole program is undergirded by mentorship. How many people have ever been a mentor? Raise your hand. I'm going to pass the mic again and ask you to explain what mentorship means to you.
Mentorship means to me just, being a guide and an inspiration to pretty much youth as far as my experience. It doesn't have to be a young person, but I've been a mentor to younger gentlemen. So just showing them, just being a role model and inspiring them to be the best that they can be.
Great. Again, raise your hands if you've been a mentor. I really need to. Stand up, please.
Mentors actually is very similar to what Bonnie said. Also, it's giving back and sharing. I believe if I'm blessed with knowledge, it's my duty to share and give it back and to bring people along as people brought me along.
And I will second that. Giving back is a real important factor in being a mentor, but I believe in giving forward. So even if you don't have anything that you believe is transactionable, you can still give your time, your heart, to somebody who needs to know that you care about them. Maybe your community, maybe your family, but try and figure out how to give, because that's the best factor of being a mentor, is giving. And what I've been told, mentors have big ears and big hearts and little mouths. But you can't really learn things about people when you're talking to them. And you have to figure out how they can actually share with you what their needs are and how they can actually share with you again how they're going to get from where they are to someplace else where you'd like them to be. Who else raised their hands for mentors?
Hi, so mentorship is also a two-way street, because you're listening to what your mentee concerns are, your challenges, and like Kevin said, open heart, but also making sure they keep things in perspective. I heard something the other day which was excellent, that failing, which we so hate to use the word fail, but it actually means first attempt in learning. And we're constantly learning in life, no matter what industry or career that you want to go into. So keeping your mentees focused, being positive on outcomes, even if they don't go the way they think they should go, just understanding that this is a first attempt in learning, and you can always get on that horse and try again, to be resilient, encourage them to be dependable, and committed to the goals that they have set forth for themselves.
Well, okay, the topic is mentorship and what it means to you. Okay? Yeah.
Hello. These are all my students. So I think one important thing is that it also is, for me, a lifelong relationship in a lot of ways. And people who I have mentored, I always let them know that they can come back to me when they need something, or if they need some guidance, or if they need a recommendation letter, or, whatever it is that they need. So that's one thing that I like to establish with any kind of mentor relationship. And I think the biggest thing for me, and I've told my students this, is they're all going to take different pathways to wherever it is that they're going. And we don't know where they're going, because the jobs that they're going to have do not exist right now. So I need to make sure when we're working together that I am modeling you to be flexible, to be a problem solver, to be personable, intelligent, responsible, and make sure you leave yourself open to what your path is going to be, because we really don't know in a lot of ways, right?
Absolutely. Okay, and I want to just thank the instructors, Adelia Shaw and Bridget, because this event was really, again, about the students. But without the instructors, there's no way we can impact the students. And I selected Friday because it's the day that most people don't have instruction at the community college level. But I also found out it's the day that everybody's working to basically survive. So we had a lot of people wanting to come, but again, being able to be a scholar, a student, and a person who's going to be able to have some real chance of competing, we've got to work, we've got to study, we've just got to really be able to make sure that we stay in the game. So anybody else have anything they can share about mentorship? Whether they want to be a mentor or they've had experience or a mentor's impacted them.
Yeah, so I work with a student mentorship group at UCLA, and we would go to a local elementary school in Culver City and sort of mentor the kids. And what I sort of learned was that it's really a two-way street. I think my purpose as a mentor was just to show that if these kids did want help, there would be someone there who could be an advocate, who would support them wholeheartedly, and just sort of, they didn't even, if you're mentoring a fourth grader, he doesn't really know what he wants, he doesn't have career goals, but just sort of being there and being able to sort of act as someone who is just a sounding board, who he can be authentic with, who he can ask the questions that he's too embarrassed to ask anyone else. And I think that was sort of my role. And I think another thing to mention is that as a mentee, or as a mentor, you learn a lot about your mentee. You see things from a different person's perspective. You kind of get in their head, which is just really valuable for just, I guess, diversity of perspective. So I highly encourage mentoring and to find a mentor.
Okay. All right. So I have some thoughts about mentorship and mentees, but I'm going to give the mic to Nick.
Yeah, I'll second what a lot of people have said, but you know, for me, I mean, I've gotten a lot of help in my own career from other people. You know, so work gets you work, and when you're, you know, I found that people are always open to giving you advice if you have questions. You know, no one's going to hand you a career, but they will give you advice and they will help you. And I've been lucky that I've gotten a lot, and that's what's led to a lot of my, you know, I've been in 50 TV shows and movies, but a lot of it's come from people that I know. So when you're able to ask people questions, but be productive without saying, hey, can you do this for me? But you know, people want a mentor, and I think on the flip side, I've been lucky. I'm a mentor in the Producers Guild Diversity Workshop. I mentor people with disabilities from all over the world. As a comedian, I've toured for the troops and all over the world, and they'll ask me questions. And I find that when I mentor people, that I actually learn a lot about what I'm trying to do in my career as well. Because when you're explaining things, you know, light bulbs go off in your head. You're like, oh, wait a minute. So I think it's you learn from each other, you know, along the way. I think, you know, the mentor-mentee relationship for me has been in a lot a give and take and learning. So I've gotten a lot from mentoring as well.
I didn't get your names. You two gentlemen here who came with Bridget.
Evan, nice to meet you.
Evan, okay. And where are you from?
Oh, I'm originally from San Jose.
Okay, and what college? Cal State LA?
Oh, I'm at Cal State LA, and I'm with Bridget's class.
Okay.
Hello, madam.
You guys have to stand up, both together. Okay, so Evan from Cal State LA and?
Also Cal State LA.
Okay, yeah, because at some point I'm going to have a quiz and we're going to have some prizes. And it's going to be based on what you guys heard and can apply. So we're going to give some stuff away. So again, Evan and?
You just pressed everybody.
If you got, yeah. And one more time?
Adam.
Okay, I'm going to try to remember everybody's name. Okay. Okay. Stand up.
Hi, my name is Brian. I'm from Cal State LA as well. I'm in Bridget's class. I'm sorry for running late. Came all the way from Rancho Cucamonga. Said it was an hour and a half drive, turned into 2 hours. So that was fun.
Thank you. Comments about mentorship and
How
mentees?
cool was that? I could have really just bit it right there.
So, I'm Juliana J. Bolden. I'm co-founder and executive producer at HollywoodPost.com, Black Tree TV, one of the largest YouTube multi-channel networks, and a friend of Kevin's, and a friend of Nick via the Television Academy. And I say all of that to say, most of the people that I work with right now are folks that I met when I was your age, coming right out of college. So make sure before you leave today that you talk to at least somebody here that either you don't talk to a whole lot or from another college, whatnot, because these relationships that you make right now, right, guys, are going to come back and help you out when you least expect it over the years. So I would say to you, the finance people and the econ people that believe that they're not in the film business, oh yes you are. The filmmakers, they need money to fund projects. So I suggest that you guys have lunch, coffee, drinks, with or without alcoholic beverages, whatever, and figure out how to find money to make stuff together. Because you are all of you are making content on some level, whether it's with your phone or with cameras that cost thousands and thousands of dollars that the cute little econ people and finance folks are going to go find you money to rent. That being said, thank you so much to all of my fellow mentors who are here to talk with people. We had a couple come in that didn't get a chance to introduce themselves. Hi, Stephanie Ardrey. How you doing? Great. Please stand up and tell them why you made me smile when I ran over to you when I saw you. And what is it that you have to give these people?
You're so sweet. So the point that Julie made is about having relationships, and we all go back over 20 plus years. I don't want to age everyone in the room, but we go back, and it's about
almost 30 years.
But what's really interesting is I think there was a group of us that came from the Bay Area, and we were all in the entertainment business in different roles. I had an advertising agency and called myself moving out of the entertainment space only to birth a child who was discovered at 4 years old, so pulled me right back into the entertainment stage. So it's been really interesting. Sterling Ardrey, shout out to my baby over there. But because of him, I just completed a doctoral dissertation on venture finance for independent filmmakers. So much for thinking that I had left the film business, but here I am back in the entertainment business and looking at ways to help up-and-coming filmmakers understand the importance of those relationships as well as the finance, because you need the money to be able to finance your projects. And that's going to be an ongoing effort. So it really is about that, both understanding what are the investors saying. See, what I did was I spent the time asking the money sources, why won't you finance projects? And if you had new content from experts, would you be willing to consider film-related projects? Then I could come back to the filmmaking community and say, listen, let me train you on the methodologies that are going to help you be most successful with securing financing, not just for one project, but being able to build your entire career. And so that's why I'm here today.
Thank you. And for another person who came in, and he's going to kill me for this, and I don't really care. We hear a lot about how there's not enough diversity in tech. I am so proud when people say, who taught you how to code? Black man taught me how to code. I mean, apparently light-skinned, but still a black man. Duran Wells, he's the CTO of French Quarter Media Group. He also runs the development arm for the National Hot Rod Association, which is so extremely cool. And I would love for you to come up and introduce yourself. And I know I'll hear about this later. The camera guys and the techs never ever want to be put on blast.
Always behind the scenes.
Duran Wells, everybody.
So, I started out in entertainment more or less. First.
Yeah.
So, quick rundown of how I know Juliana. I managed a band. Prior to that, I worked at Warner Records and was just trying to find my way just to get into the scene. Somehow met somebody who knew somebody and I got a job assisting a VP and A&R. From that, kind of found my way into managing a recording studio and then really into managing a band. Keep in mind, my degree is in fine art, which has nothing to do with what I do now, but it's trying to attain an education and taking my ability to meet people, learn whatever I could from whoever I could. And along the way, a band session, a recording session at the studio, I met Juliana, and she's a great songwriter, great musician.
Basically, he was the band manager, and I was trying to give him stuff to make for our band website, and he saw that I could actually design things, and he said, I want you to build this yourself. This is where everything is going. I was like, dude, I'm a journalism person and a music, I write, I'm not a computer programmer. He's like, yes you are. I was like, no I'm not. And he said to me, just let me teach you the basics, open tag, close tag of coding, and if you don't get it, I'll leave you alone, but you have to try. And then
along the line of the theme of mentoring, one of the members in the band taught me how to do basic HTML, which back then was pretty big, but now it's kind of the basics. And from there, I just wanted to learn more and more, and just got booked to taught myself. Now it's much easier because now you can Google stuff, YouTube, or etc., and kind of teach yourself. And as you go along, you ask questions, you try to make things, you break things, and you fix stuff, and you learn from that. And hopefully you get lucky enough people are willing to teach you.
And wouldn't you say that
the relationship between making content, coding, all these places where media and tech converge. If you want a shot at getting your projects out there and you have friends that build channels, and by building channels, I mean not just YouTube, but your own websites and that connect to their own apps and wherever else these things connect, that's content distribution. So you guys have to think about the world in a little bit different way than we did. It's not just about hooking up with the studio. You are the studio in some ways. You can still do the old school thing, go try it, knock on the doors of Sony or Universal Pictures or wherever. But those of you that are going to get the biggest checks are going to be the ones that build your own sources of content distribution and control what you put on it.
What I tell my kids is they are their own corporation. They are face, they are the reception in the front. They are the back making sure everything's running, and they are making decisions for themselves. If you approach that with everything you do, then you make sure you cover all your bases. You try to learn what you can and apply that. And always remember, you're always being watched. People see you no matter what. And hopefully you'll have in your best space so that when an opportunity comes about, they think about you for an opportunity, or think about you when they need to ask. They hope that you might have information for them that you can help with and you can collaborate with.
Thank you so much. The moral of the story being, your finance friends, your tech friends are all in the content making business with you. Thanks for listening.
Our keynote speaker is on his way. Somehow he didn't read the directions. His name is Shane Norman from Lionsgate Laugh Out Loud Network. So as we buy more time to wait for him to talk to you about how to work for him. He's got some jobs or some career opportunities to work in the space called Laugh Out Loud Network. So, but show of hands, how many people expect to work in this digital media tech economy? Raise your hand high if you expect to work in this industry. The people that are raising their hand real high, please, as high as you can. I want this to be on camera. The people who don't want to work in the entertainment industry for whatever reason. Okay. And there's two, okay, so the people are raising their hands if you do not want to work in the entertainment industry. Go ahead, Matthew, sorry. We got one person, okay.
You got the look on his face like, is this weird?
It is weird.
No, it's not weird.
Our program is going to start in a few minutes. We're going to introduce you to the person who is our host. He literally took the place of his boss. His name is Donovan Green, who has been a real mentor for me. Donovan has actually helped to fund my program, my nonprofit organization, the Dakar Media Academy. Donovan's also been really helpful in getting some of the students in the community college system, getting them prepared for field trips like AT&T Shape. How many people have heard of AT&T Shape? Raise your hand high. Okay. Yeah, it's really one of the best experiences that I've ever enjoyed, and it's really kind of a prosumer, consumer look at what AT&T has in the way of software and hardware, entertainment. It's basically the convergence of everything that AT&T wants you to know about the future. So it happens in the summer, at different times in the summer. I think it was August this year. But it's a place where anybody who really wants to get a head start and understanding about the future should come. So, you know, the person, again, who's stepping in for Donovan Green, I want to bring him up and have him introduce you to what's going to happen at 11 o'clock. So give a big round of applause to our host, Amir Johnson.
I appreciate that, Kevin. That's a kind introduction. You guys are stuck with me. I'm not Donovan Green, but I'm going to try my best. I've watched him do this a number of times, so I'm going to do my best Donovan Green reenactment today.
And if you can, tell them where you came from.
Yeah. My name's Amir Johnson. I'm a local kid. Went to Westchester High School here, right down the street. Graduated there, and I went to college. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what everyone tells you. It's not, that was 10 years ago when everyone told you graduate high school, where are you going to school, not if you're going. And that's quite frankly not the route, it used to be a prototypical route for success. And that's what studies are showing is not in fact the case. Going to 2-year schools, understanding, getting a better understanding of what it is you want to do and maximizing, saving money, the whole nine. But it's funny, I was interested in entertainment. I thought I was going to be a broadcaster. I wanted to be in front of the camera as a sports broadcaster. And I went to an institution that did not encourage entertainment. I didn't go there seeking broadcasting, but it was what I was interested in. And I went to a school that did not promote entertainment whatsoever. You'd have to really navigate, go to some different schools, bring those credits back in order to graduate with some sort of a makeshift sort of degree in communications and something. So I went with political science. And I worked for AT&T as a lobbyist. And my job is to sort of mold laws on behalf of AT&T. So every year the state legislature in Sacramento gets together and they make laws that benefit or hurt AT&T and everything, you name it. The curbs are painted red for a reason, that's a state law. Trees being trimmed, I mean, you name it, laws are being made every day that affect us. And so my job is to talk to politicians all day about the importance of AT&T and what we're doing. I think I'm in entertainment still in the regard that I speak to people and I'm out there. And may not be on camera, but I'm forward-facing for the company. So the company depends on me to represent AT&T in a large area here. Where are my notes? Okay, I want to thank Kevin with the car. Man, appreciate it. They're doing some phenomenal work. Another job of mine is to recognize organizations and nonprofits that are doing phenomenal work in the community and that benefit successes of young people and minorities and women-owned businesses. And so my job is to find those organizations, try to support them in the best way that I can, and most of the times it's financial. And so I write the checks for AT&T to a number of these organizations. Okay, so we are going to have a little quiz. I know it's Friday, we're not at school, but does anyone know what AT&T stands for? Anyone? Anyone, sir?
American Telegraph and...
What is it?
Telephone and Telegraph?
American Telephone and Telegraph. Yeah, yeah.
I just aged myself.
Yeah, no, I'm going to get into that as well. How long has AT&T been around? Let's get a guess. AT&T been around?
Since Pac Bell.
Since Pac Bell, yeah. Way before Pac Bell.
Oh, the Western Union.
80 years? Good guess.
You guys know that
Western
there's
Union?
people in this room that have no idea what Pac Bell is. Barely know what it
Oh
was.
man, yeah. 140 years. 140 years. The first telephone, Bell, all came from AT&T, American Telephone, Telegraph. Let you know I'm dating how the company is. Below my phone. Anyone can name the major company we just purchased? You were here early for the video, weren't you?
No.
Oh, you knew that? Okay. Tell me what all it comes with that Time Warner Inc. purchase. Warner Brothers? DC? Yeah. CNN?
HBO?
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay. You got him. That's it. Cartoon Network, did you say? And right before that, we purchased another very large company. Anyone? Very large company. DirecTV, yeah. And so you'll walk around this campus today and you'll see all these AT&T globes that were once former DirecTV globes. This is their headquarters here. And this is our entertainment headquarters. So those are all questions to try to remember. I know Kevin's going to ask you some of these a little bit later. But what do those companies all have in common? The Time Warners, the DirecTVs, what do they all have in common? All entertainment. We didn't purchase another telephone company. We didn't purchase another software, anything. They're all entertainment. And if we've spent $120 billion, $120 billion over the last 5 years, all focused on entertainment. That lets you know what the future is. The future is not in And what I do, I mean, they need me, but the future is in what you all do. And we're investing a lot of money in that. And what those companies all have in common is they distribute media, they distribute content, right? All of those are platforms which distribute content. So your Netflixes and your YouTubes, they already have the platform. They distribute their own content, and AT&T didn't have that. We didn't have any way to get into the market of entertainment. So you purchase companies in which you can distribute out original content. And so what you guys are out here doing with entertainment, original content is king. King. The amount of money you can sell original content for, and the amount of people that are looking to grab on the original content, I hear it every day. They're willing to pay the money for the original content that you guys all have. So that's just a little bit. I'll tell you how much money we're spending on it. Kevin mentioned AT&T Shape. Huge event is coming up. Kevin will get a list. Anybody that's interested in coming, I would not miss it. It's our sort of signature event. It's local here at Warner Brothers Studios. And I'll be around for the rest of the day. Anyone have any questions? But I wish I could speak more about entertainment, but I can't.
Well, you can certainly take some questions from some
I can.
folks.
Any
So,
questions?
before, actually, let's get your write down all your questions for Amir, and we will come back to that throughout the day and hear more about AT&T shaping everything, because we're definitely not done with you, Amir.
No!
Shane Norman?
Okay, and guys, we're a little bit behind, so we got a tour, but before we do the tour, we have our keynote speaker. And so I'm going to ask him to come to the stage right now. Don't, hold your applause, hold your applause.
Don't clap.
We're going to have him come to the stage, and Juliana, would you sit up there with him, because I'm going to let him talk a little bit about the who, what, why, where, and how, laugh out loud. There might be some questions, and I'm going to have the mic pass. I'm going to play just a minute of something that could actually help set this thing up, so here we go.
And I, of course, am your host, Kevin Hart. Today, I'm embarking in the world of recess. As I'm on a school bus, as I'm with these amazing kids. Hey kids, say hi kids. Let's go pick up my friends today. I got Liza Kosher. You guys know what Liza Kosher is? You guys like her more than you like me? Oh, God.
Okay. Boom.
Everybody, thank you for joining us. Shane Norman here to talk with us about opportunities at LOL Landscape.
Yeah. So great to meet everybody. How y'all doing? Good. I'm Shane Norman. I'm the Senior Vice President of Product and Innovation. That's my current title. It happens to change daily just based on what I'm doing at the moment. I was actually supposed to be in Toronto today, but our trip was scheduled. Kevin's a good friend. Asked me days ago if I'd be able to join you guys, so last minute schedule switcheroo, and we're here. Love investing in young minds and talking to people, so I'm here to answer any questions that you guys might have, but I'll do what I do, what old men in my age do. I've got a little gray on both sides of the beard. What we do is offer unsolicited advice. Didn't ask you, didn't come up to you and say, hey, what do you think? So let me just give you guys a little bit of advice with regard to your career and what you plan to do and what you seek to do. Find something that you really enjoy. You hear this whole crazy cliche, do something that you wouldn't, if you didn't get paid for it, that you still would do it anyway. Well, that's crazy talk, because the reality is all of us want to get paid, right? But the truth is that statement is just an evaluation of doing something that you get up in the morning and passionately want to do. Passionately say, this is something that I desire to do, I endeavor to do. And when you do that, it makes everything easy. Even in the world of comedy, our jobs are not easy, because there's all sorts of challenges in running a business, in hiring people and finding great people that are inherent to just being in the world. But the truth is, you want to find whatever it is The only way that you can be great at it is if you enjoy it. That's my old man unsolicited advice.
And what we're gonna do, because we've got a quite of a wrap, we're gonna have a wrap in about 10 for the tour. So we really need you guys to engage Shane on questions about how you can work for it. So again, don't be bashful, because at some point we're gonna try to put together an orientation. And
We have a raised hand over here. Well, we did have a raised hand over there.
Well, I was waiting till he asked. It's rude. I didn't want to be rude while he was.
Hey, be rude, because
I
you gotta
knew you
stand
saw
out
me,
here.
so it was.
We have,
Were you finished, Kevin?
I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. Hi, hello, my name is Carol Murphy. Thanks for coming. Nice to meet you. I am a retired educator. I was a teacher for 25 years and a school administrator, and I always wanted to be a film and entertainment something. I didn't know what. I just wanted to work in this industry. So I definitely can attest to what you said. I spent 25 years. I loved the kids, but I hated what I did because I wanted to be in Hollywood. And I had children to feed. So they're all grown and gone, and now I'm here to do what I love. And I have been for 5 years doing some various things around sets, ADing, producing, associate producing, casting, and I'm now learning at Santa Monica College. How can I get a job with you? I have great transferable skills from my career as an educator and some new skills in entertainment.
Right. Absolutely. Well, wonderful. Congratulations to you, because people go all their lives in misery. And my wife is an example. She's an educator. Decided I hate kids. This is what happened. we actually have 5 kids. So
how long did it take her to figure out she hated kids?
yeah, immediately. So so the truth is, the advice that I would give to you as well as anybody else is the show that you're looking at, as well as many other shows, not just on network or anywhere else. Some of those shows are created by, they could literally are not created by people that you've heard of. Any great idea can come from anyone. And what I'd say for folks who are looking to make it in is the best way to make a way is to make your own way, right? There's nothing in this world to stop you from grabbing a camera, creating a show, creating a piece. One of my friends just created a piece that went viral, and we see each other every day and haven't been talking about, what he's up to. And put together something with, you guys know the comedian Quay, blame it on Quay, TT has the green wig, whatever. He did the spoof on a music video, and like I see this guy all the time and never made the connection that, wow, that was your idea? How'd you do that, right? So in this world of a very competitive, city, the tangibles are so critically important of what did you work on, what did you create, and what kind of contributions can you make? And the reason why I say focusing on your own thing, or not just necessarily your own thing, but something where your skills are necessarily seen, that it makes it easy to translate your skill to, okay, hey, we need somebody to do X, Y, and Z. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So case in point, if this were your show, I came up with it. I decided on this set. If we were focusing on the costume design or whatever your area of specialty is, right? There are tangible views of what you've actually done. And I think that's the biggest mistake that people make in the career conversation, is not focusing on what the tangibles are. Does that make sense? Okay.
We have one more question over here, and can I get a couple of raised hands in the middle?
Okay, let's bring the mic. But actually, okay.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Portia.
Portia.
Hi. I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry. Hello. Okay. So yeah, I've always wanted to be in the entertainment industry. I currently do hair, so I'm pretty known in the hair industry or whatever. But I've always wanted to be in the industry. I don't want to keep going in and out. So
I can hear you fine.
you can. Okay. Cool. So yeah. Anyways, I don't know, I want to be a host. Like when I was younger, I made up my own show. Like, you know what I mean? I had that. I always like, yeah, I just have a bubbly personality. You know what I mean? But I want to be a host like Oprah Winfrey. Like, you know what I mean? With a twist, like, because I'm not Oprah.
Yeah. So,
I want to, I do.
where's your phone?
My phone?
Can you hold it up? Okay. That is iPhone 10.
Right.
It shoots in 4K at 60 frames per second. That is 10 times better than any camera that Oprah shot with when she was discovered.
Right.
You want to you want to be a host, you find a place, the best place in your house with the best lighting, where I don't know if you have cats and dogs, like move them out the way, lock them in the closet, turn on the camera, and start going, right? We live in a world where there literally is no excuse for creating great content. And the truth is, as you were talking, you remind me of a lot of people that I've worked with and talked to. If you go on Instagram, you look at these guys who've built millions and millions of followers, it's because they found the message, found the audience, and they just continue to work it, right? I actually know the guy that discovered Oprah. In fact, he was responsible for me moving out of the local television station group in Memphis to run the Fox television station group in New York. His name is Dennis Swanson. And they just gave her a spot on a local TV show, right? It wasn't this big discovery like, oh, you're going to be the greatest TV host in the world. No, they're just like, oh, she's cool. Give her a spot, right? It wasn't anything grand or terrific. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking for, is this grand or terrific discovery. And the truth is, when you discover somebody, it's somebody who's been working and perfecting their craft, perfecting their message. And even if it's just going out to you and your cousins, it's like, hey, I'm going to be a host. I've got my camera. I'm going to post it on YouTube. I'm going to share it just with these 5 people. But then here's how the internet works. Those 5 people share it with 100 people. Those 100 people share it with 1,000 people. And the next thing you know, you got something that's shared thousands of times. So I'd say not everybody in here, you don't have to wait you don't have to wait for your moment. Everybody in here has a smartphone. Everybody in here has 10 times the advantage that Oprah did. You have a built-in audience. However many people following you on Facebook or Instagram, you've already got your audience. You got more than she did when she started. All right, is that fair, or does that sound smug?
Okay, guys, we're gonna have some real talk here because we've only got maybe another 5 minutes before the tour. Shane and I have had some conversations about the optimal way to get to a potential interview with him. So he's told me about who he's not looking for. And I'm going to ask him to try and repeat, nicely, the kind of people that they've had to, at some point, maybe, escort out of the building. But literally, he's told me kind of a prescriptive way for me to scout out some of the talent that I've met along the way in community and four-year universities. So I'm going to have him talk about what exactly he's looking for in the candidate and what he's not looking for.
Well, the first thing is kind of like a Steve Jobs rip, right? It's like, he has this famous quote that says, stay hungry, stay foolish, right? It's really easy to see people that are hungry, right? If you're not hungry, you show up 5 minutes late. If you're not hungry, you leave as early as you possibly can. If you're not hungry, you do the very, very least of the amount of what you can do, right? I love to talk about my assistant who came in, and actually almost every assistant anybody who's ever worked for me has gone on to be promoted. And she's just been promoted, I think, 2 times in the last couple of months. And she came in hungry. First come, last leave. That's not a requisite. Maybe you're efficient at what you do and you can work 8 to 5. But the truth is, everybody knows hunger when they see it, right? I have 2 babies at home. There's no question when they're hungry, right? And they devour everything they can until they're satiated. And the truth is, if you don't have that kind of intellectual curiosity, you'll never grow. And you won't have, you'll walk into an environment like, hey, here's my job. Well, the reality is, in our world where it's very much entrepreneurial, very much startup, everybody kind of makes their own job, right? It's like you see a need, fill a need. Anybody ever seen the movie Robots? You see a need, you fill a need. You almost create your job description. In fact, as a matter of fact, I'm 38 years old. I've actually never applied for a job. Every job that I've had has been created for me or didn't exist before I got to it. That was because every single opportunity was about seeing a need, filling a need. Hey, Shane, can you? Hey, we thought about you. Hey, can you come up here? Hey, can you come run, help us relaunch our products or what have you? So what I'm looking for immediately in folks that we work with are folks who are really, really hungry, who really want to know more. And really, to a large degree, what I've discovered is the folks around me and the folks that I work with have capabilities and skills that I don't. So laziness is almost like is like an automatic, is a non-starter. The other part that is really important for everybody at this stage is what I was telling this young lady. What was your name again?
Me?
Yes.
Carol.
Carol. What I was telling Carol about earlier is really it's all about the tangibles, right? I walk around with a portfolio and stuff that I've done before, but so many people talk about what they can do, and the truth is, one of my friends who's a famous chocolatier in Memphis, his name is Philip Ashley, he wrote a quote, and I've said it for years and years. He said, kindergarten got it right, show and tell. You can't talk about what you didn't bring with you. So kindergarten really showed us, how really to demonstrate who we are, is you come with show and tell. And I think some people think that's showboaty, I think some people think that's over the top, but the truth is, sometimes it's really hard to translate skill, right? Until you can see it, touch it, feel it, hold it. Here's the other part that I'd say, just for going back to the whole laziness and hunger thing. A good friend of mine is an actress. If any of you guys watch Empire, a whole bunch of other shows. She's one of my favorite people. They actually live not too far away. Boris Kojo and Nicole Larry Parker. You guys are familiar with them? So I worked with them on a couple shows, created a show while we were traveling. In the last show that we created, we were talking about a series of things, and she issued this quote that I almost repeat daily. It's how you do anything is how you do everything. So essentially, if you are lazy in school, you're going to be lazy at work, right? If you're lazy in one job, you'll be lazy in another, right? And essentially, patterns repeat themselves. So excellence here at this level is really important in translating that excellence into the workplace.
Wow. Well, guys, we're going to transition into another part of the program. We want to thank Shane for giving us a few tidbits on how we can get closer to an interview and potentially a job with him. And he has some, not jobs, career opportunities that are paying. So literally what we want to do is get better at understanding the Laugh Out Loud, Lionsgate business model, so that when we put together another meetup like this, we'll be engaged and we can activate some real discussion with him about how we can get an interview. So again, any last statements, Shane, before we...
Last thing, you guys can follow me, is just at Shane Norman, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. I answer everybody. I don't ignore anybody. I'm not famous at all. So it's kind of like, hey, wow, I got a message. Yeah, cool. Anyway, I'm not that cheap. But seriously, if you guys, there are real opportunities. If there's anything that I can do for you, any other advice. But honestly, I just say, be happy at what you do. Be real. Be hungry. That's it. Okay.
All right, thank you, Shane. Again, give him a round of applause for coming here. And we're going to get ready now for the tour. It's going to be about a half an hour. Then when we come back, we're going to be talking to Ted Milner, who also gets people employed in the industry. Again, all right, so let's get ready. Amir, you're going to take us to our tour. All right, thank you.
Yeah. It's okay, do you want to make things, security's here.
Yeah. And you can just come and sit right back where you are, so don't, bog yourself down.
Everybody, we're going to follow, we're going to fill up.
All right, we are live from the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge Meetup event these films are starring and created by people with disabilities.
55 hours to write, shoot, edit short films.
What an amazing challenge.
I'm here to ask you to take part in the
Easter Seals
Disability Film Challenge.
an incredible thing that you can be a part of.
Get it on the screen.
Put it on the screen. Anyone with a disability can find their film mojo, believe me.
People with disabilities are leading challenging, exciting, wonderful lives.
Don't think that you have to be Hollywood. You don't need all of that stuff. You need a good story, you need good actors, and you need good preparation. A crack in the door that says, hey, we're coming in.
One of the best ways to change the way the world views disability is by seeing actors with disability authentically presented.
Really make something of meaning, of importance, that I can marry my passion of filmmaking with advocacy.
We need to be part of the conversation, and it's not just the entertainment companies, it's us saying, now is the time where I'm going to put myself in a position to win.
Today, we celebrate our 5th birthday, and it is the biggest challenge we have ever had. We had films come from 12 different countries.
We got to get the message out there. The film challenge literally made history.
Having this platform for people to express themselves and like get their voices heard and tell these stories is wonderful.
It's a great way to show somebody's world. It's awesome.
So thank you so very much from the bottom of our hearts to allow us to tell these stories and allowing us into an industry that otherwise wouldn't.
That awareness is really making waves in Hollywood.
You know, like something like this is out there for us. It really changed my life.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you so much. I'm gonna come up on the stage because I'm a comedian, so I feel at home up here. But no, this means so much. I want to thank you so much for allowing me to talk about the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, and really for allowing me to be here to explore AT&T. I mean, how cool is that tour? I feel like I'm in the TV show Silicon Valley. You know, we're seeing the behind the scenes. No, but this is an amazing campus that really is the center of entertainment in the world. So to be able to be here backstage is really amazing. So I know I talked a little bit about myself earlier. For those of you guys that don't know who I am or you weren't here, my name's Nick Novicki. I'm an actor, I'm a comedian, I'm a producer. I've been in 50 TV shows and movies. But a lot of the work I've gotten has been self-driven. It's been me writing, shooting, producing, creating my own content. You know, I've been lucky. The Sopranos led to Boardwalk Empire. Boardwalk Empire, working with Martin Scorsese, led to him helping me with another project. So really, I know I saw so many of you guys, you're filmmakers. You're people that are trying to get involved in entertainment, and you're thinking to yourself, how's that going to happen? Well, that's going to happen by you guys working together, because ultimately, that's, you know, Martin Scorsese worked with people that were, you know, in his film school. You know, everyone starts somewhere, whether it's in film school, whether it's not, but ultimately, it's about creating your own content. Because for me, I'm 3'10". So I was like, look, if I'm going to be the gangster, the romantic lead, I got to produce it, create it, I got to direct it. I'm not going to wait for somebody to create my lottery ticket. I've got to create my own. And so I think all of us here, we have that same mission. That's why you came out here today. Now, you saw out there before the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. Now, what this is it's a weekend film competition where over the course of a weekend, you write, shoot, edit, and submit a 3 to 5 minute film that has somebody with a disability in front of or behind the camera. Now, some of you guys think, well, I don't have a disability, so why is that important to me? Let me put some statistics out there. 1 in 4 Americans has some form of disability. That's 61 million Americans with disabilities. But people with disabilities are seen in less than 3% of film and TV shows. So, right there, I mean, you're talking about a huge demographic of people that are being left out. It is the largest minority population. It is the most underrepresented. And I'm not gonna lie, because I've been creating my own content and, you know, really been in charge of my own brand, I've gotten a lot of opportunities. And 6 years ago, I was looking around, I was like, why aren't more people with disabilities doing this? So I created the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. And my goal with it was, look, let's create more opportunities for people that don't have disabilities to work with people that do have disabilities. The films don't have to be about disability, nothing about it. And really, I was like, look, let's create amazing incentives and prizes. So the winners screen at the Holly Shorts Film Festival, which is an Academy Award qualifying festival at the Chinese Theater. I set up mentor meetings. And work leads to work, and it's grown and grown. So if you look right there on the back of this flyer, everyone's got a flyer, you'll see about some of the things. We have $2,000 grants that go to from Universal Pictures to the winners of Best Film, Best Filmmaker, Best Actor, and Best Awareness Campaign. So ultimately, what happens, if you go to disabilityfilmchallenge.com, you'll see all the information on how you can get involved. I also, you know, if you send an email on there, I'll give you the 50% discount code, which I also share. You know, you may hire me, I may hire you, you may hire each other. But that's the way that we continue to work and build. And I've been lucky because it's been a viral thing during our awareness competition. Just in general, people are sharing. And you know, you guys want to be in, and then you got to get right back in the same spot. Who wants to be in a group picture with me? If you do, come in the middle part real quick. We're going to do it one shot. Everyone bring a flyer with you. And I'm going to post that on my Instagram and my Twitter. And if you guys want to share it, that's how we continue to spread awareness.
Everybody that has a camera or phone, please also take it out. Do selfies, anything that you can do to post to your social networks, your Instagram, your Snapchat, Facebook. Use code. People on the social networks as possible.
Oh, what's your code? Oh, sorry. Thanks. We gotta get you in, man. We got. Okay, awesome. All right, everybody. If we can't slide, squish in here. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. And everyone, you could. Thank you so much. Huh? My Instagram and my Twitter is @NickNovicki. Right after this, I'm going to be posting all this, and please follow @Disability Film Challenge. Follow all these amazing initiatives, because you know we're gonna. I hope you guys take part in the challenge. You have questions? Any of you? Email me. You need a code? You have questions in general about disability or the film? I'm here.
Hold it a few more seconds. Okay, let's give Nick a big round of applause. Okay, everybody seat themselves. We're gonna move so we get to our food. He created something called the Digital Pathway Initiative for our organization. And it's really the roadmap for us to try to figure out how to be more effective in finding the intersection between mentorship, advocacy, and the real deal, how do we get people placed in the industry? And all of this takes a lot of research, a lot of work, a lot of trial and error. AT&T has been a big part of helping me try to fill in some of those gaps because they're giving me bigger platforms to be able to reach people like you guys. But Jay Tucker, again, has been able to put this Digital Pathway Initiative in my hand. We're working it out now so that it becomes something that we can share with students so that you guys can figure out how to take a role in helping your peer groups. Without further ado, I want to give you guys a chance to meet Jay Tucker and give him a big round of applause.
Hey everybody, how we doing? Good. Yeah, real good. I like that. That's good. So, as Kevin said, my name is Jay Tucker. I run the Center for Media, Entertainment, and Sports at the Business School at UCLA. But when I met Kevin, I was actually in a similar role at USC, which does show that folks can get along with each other, right? One of the things, if you guys haven't been paying attention about what's really been happening on the business side here in Southern California, is the rise of startups, particularly with this convergence of innovation in entertainment and media and sports, right? So we talk about that, we call it Silicon Beach. And I was lucky enough, don't know, 6 or 7 years ago now, to start an event at USC that also had a venture competition, meaning people who had business ideas could compete and win up to $25,000 to start their business, no strings attached, right? And it was fun, it was cool, until some of my colleagues at USC pointed out that while we were celebrating some of the successful people, we weren't really thinking about our young creators, folks from underserved communities, aspiring entrepreneurs, folks who often are on the outside looking in, not because they're not smart, not because they're not talented, but they lack access to resources and people and access to the market and access to capital. And, you know, in short, how do we make sure that the wheels of progress don't roll over our communities, right? And it just so happened that I got to meet Kevin about that time when he was doing some incredible work over at Compton High School, trying to help young creators understand the television production business. And we've been lucky enough to run into lots of other people. I see some of them here today, like Stephanie, Juliana, Ted, and others who are also very, very interested in making sure that you guys in particular have access to job opportunities, that you have the training necessary so that when you walk into the workplace, people see your value, right? But also to make sure that we're helping you and people like you discover the next wave of opportunities that are coming so that you'll be ready, right? There are lots of programs, and I know that you've been exposed to some of them over the course of your school careers and hopefully what will soon be work careers. But we want to make sure that you have opportunities for experiential learning, case competitions, hackathons, create-a-thons, etc., internships, and so on, right? One of the things that I think we should not waste is the opportunity to actually hear from you guys, right? So you got a chance to tour the facility. You just heard from Nick. We want to know, while we have you here as our as our interested students, we want to hear from you. What is it that you really want, right? What would be helpful? What are some of the challenges you're dealing with where if someone could only provide blah, it would be really helpful, right? So that we better understand how to direct our energy when we try to make connections with other people, other companies, other resources, that we're doing right by you. So I'm just going to start pointing at people at random. I just want you to tell me.
Actually, I do have a plant here.
Uh-oh, you have a plant?
We have a gentleman who's going to be part of the program, but instead we're going to make this more interactive.
Okay.
It's a gentleman that's sitting, I think, in the last row here. I want him to raise his hand. His name is Matthew. I'm going to give him the microphone.
Okay.
And let him have the floor for a few minutes. If you can't stand up, Matthew. For the people who don't know you, tell them who you are and where you're going.
Okay, God, how many minutes do I have?
What do you need?
All right, you guys are my captive audience. All right, so I'm Matt Wong. I'm from the Bay Area. I grew up in San Francisco, but I want to go to school at UCLA just because I thought it'd be a really great way to open a lot of opportunities. And I guess I'll sort of just tell you about my last couple of years and sort of my path to where I am now. I don't even want to call it my own path. I think it's like the path of Matt and the 50 people who helped him get there. But basically, coming into college, I wasn't really too sure what I wanted to do, but I did learn a couple things along the way, and there were a lot of people who helped me get to where I am. So I guess I started not really knowing what I wanted to do, but what I did do was just put feelers out everywhere, you know. I thought every
Sounds like it's perfect. Use this one.
Okay, so this is something I'd encourage anyone, I guess, to do, but just when you're thinking about time invested in your career, you're just investing in yourself. So not a second of it is wasted. I did a lot of research, I talked to a lot of people, and I think every single time I talked to someone, met someone new, made another connection, it all sort of came back to me, I guess, and just like expanded the pool of what I do know. So I guess, you know, I can field specific questions later. Like, I'm here to help out. I sort of reached the end of my journey. I just want to start giving back. But I guess there are sort of 3 pieces of advice I want to share. The first is to be authentic. I think in a lot of conversations I've had when people really saw me was that I was being myself. I was curious. And I think with being authentic, you have to first know yourself too. So what I encourage all of you guys to do is sort of do like a little self-audit. Know who you are, know why you're doing what you're doing, understand who you are, who the real you is, so you could show other people the real you too. And then I guess the second point I wanted to make was to be always curious. Ask questions, never turn your mind off. Because when you ask questions, you just start pulling at the strings, one thing leads to another, and then your brain starts to work around those things, then you get creative. you can't really be creative without being curious first. And the last thing I wanted to share was just to have a bias towards action. I'll just share a little anecdote with you guys. So I was traveling in China over this summer, and on a street corner I saw this like performance, and it was put on by a guy in his crew. This guy was a saxophone player, but like, to be honest, he was not that great a sax. He was very mediocre, he got the job done. But the thing is, he actually did, right? He actually got the job done. He assembled a team, he found people who could sort of make up for his deficiencies and support him. So he actually ended up, taking the cake home. Like, yeah, someone might have done it better, but he did it. So that's sort of what I wanted to sort of share with you guys. It's like, just start doing things, people will notice. One thing leads to another. Be curious, be authentic, and I guess another thing is just be grateful. Sort of remember that like you got to where you are, sort of like with a lot of support, and your success reflects well on those who help support you too. So you should invest in yourself, but also invest in your parents, and your teachers, and your school, and your community. Because I mean, you didn't get here by yourself. I didn't, and I think it's just always good to remember that. And if anyone has any questions, like I'm always.
Okay, 1, 2. I have a question.
Yeah.
So what are you going to be doing after graduation?
I'm going to be working at a fintech startup in San Francisco. They give affordable credit building loans to working class Americans, so they're actually doing a social good. So again, I don't really know what I wanted to do as I came into college. I took a lot of routes. My path to this sort of job was really, it was not a straight line at all, but I learned a lot along the way, and I found something that I'm passionate about that I can't wait to start doing. And I think, if you do, just do your diligence. If you do sort of think of all the time you spend on this career search as an investment in yourself and what you want to do for the authentic version of you, I think, there's something out there for everyone. And thanks to Kevin again for putting this on. I mean, we've all really enjoyed this. This is super cool.
Thank you.
Louis Cardinals. And while I was running the minor leagues, my wife created an alternate career for me. And Mimi Milner, former professional baseball player. I played for the Houston Astros, the Cleveland Indians, California Angels, St. Louis Cardinals. And while I was struggling in the minor leagues, my wife created an alternate career for me and made me president of Executive Temps, which today services more than major players in any other agency.
Hi, my name is Stacy Milner. I am the founder of Executive Temps and the former executive assistant to the chairmans of NBC and Paramount.
And over the past 25 years, Executive Temps has serviced Paramount, DreamWorks, Warner Brothers, NBC, CBS, OWN, TNT, Cartoon Network, to name a few.
I began my career as a page before working my way up to work alongside the chiefs of NBC. They included Brandon Kartakoff, Grant Tinker, Warren Littlefield, and then I landed at Paramount, where I became the executive assistant to the chairman of Paramount's television group, Mr. Terry McCluggage.
In the last 10 years, the industry's changed quite a bit. The job market has become increasingly more competitive. College grads are not only competing with students who are graduating, but they're competing globally. And 50% of the kids graduating today are graduating without a job in the field of study.
The story behind Executive Temps is an interesting one. During my days of assisting the chairmen of NBC, I realized that no one wanted to call for a temp. And that was because they needed people who knew the players and could hit the ground running. So that's when the light bulb went on for me. And I decided that, Stacy, if you recreate yourself and put together a team of people who have the experience and knowledge that you have working a desk in Hollywood, you could have an agency. So here we are today, 25 years later, and we staff for more than major players than any other agency.
The workshop that she does in training employees on what to prepare and what to look for and how to meet the needs of executives, I believe truly separates us from any other agency. I don't believe there's anywhere else in Hollywood that people are getting that type of training.
What makes Executive Temps different, I think, is because I come from the industry. I understand its culture, I understand its environment. I know what is needed, I know the type of people that will work.
I think one of the most important things students need to know when landing a job in Hollywood is to humble themselves and interview for the job and not for the future. In the 25 years of running Executive Temps, I've never had an executive come to me and say, I'm looking to hire someone whose dreams I can make come true. They're always hiring for the job. And the biggest mistake that students are making is they're interviewing for the future when the employer is interviewing you for the job. It's never about them, it's always about the employer.
They will take someone with a great attitude over experience any day than a person with a bad attitude. Well, Leveraging Up is an entertainment career workshop. It's the only industry-specific workshop of its kind. It takes participants through all the nuts and bolts of what they need to know to successfully navigate a career in the entertainment industry. I like to call it a behind-the-scenes, high-definition look at what it takes to succeed and to thrive in the entertainment industry. It's a program that gives them a real-life experience of working a desk in Hollywood, but also takes them through the business, behind the business of the industry, so that they understand that there is an apprenticeship that they are going through that will actually lead to promotion and other opportunities. The book is entitled Leveraging Up, The Key to Launching Your Entertainment Career, and the book came about as a result of my workshops. I had participants coming up and asking, how can I get this information in book form? So I sat down, wrote, and published the book, went off on a college tour, and the rest is history. And now today it is being used by colleges and universities to train the next generation on how to successfully navigate a career in the entertainment industry. Working as a husband and wife team. Well, it's crazy, it can get chaotic, but it's fun. I really enjoy working. I like being next to him. I don't know so much that he likes me being in his space all the time.
It's really interesting. I mean, I understand why people don't do it as a husband and wife. I know the challenges that exist, but the reality is no one's really going to care for you and give you guidance and give you wisdom more than your spouse. The challenge is that you work together all the time. You work together, then you're at home together, and so she gets increasingly ballsier. I do like working with you, but you don't stay in your lane.
Insight and intuition, and you don't have.
Okay, I'll give her that. She has an intuition that I like.
So, it's like, and we enjoy doing what we do together. Yes, thank you, Ted. You said all the right things. It comes with my own team. As you can see, we are a diverse supplier to the entertainment industry. And just to let you in on a secret, we were around before affirmative action became popular. But it's only because we have a passion to staff in this industry, and I think we do it best as a team. Thank you.
That was some introduction. That video's a little old. Can everyone hear me okay? It's a little old, so I haven't seen that in a long time, guys. You did a good job. That was really good. So I took away about half of my presentation, so this is going to be really short. But as the video said, I used to play professional baseball, and I was struggling in the minor leagues. I played for Cardinals, the Angels, Cleveland Indians, and Houston Astros. And so I struggled in baseball in minor league. Baseball is very, very, very political. And so my wife created a job for us, or for me. She continued to work at NBC with lots of executive temps. So I would say the biggest challenge now with running executive temps is we're facing, I'm just going to put a timer on myself because I want to be mindful of my time and other speakers that you have. All of the dreams that you guys have to be in entertainment can come true. All of them. The people that are controlling the content that you and I watch on TV or we go to the big screen are not super brainy people. I know because I placed them. But it's all about behavior, and it's all about how you navigate that space. So the EVP of programming for NBC, we placed him. The Vice President of Cartoon Network, the Vice President of Legal and Business Affairs for Endemol, the Manager of Production for Disney, the EVP or the VP of Jesse Collins Entertainment. Jesse Collins Entertainment is the one that does all the award shows. I would say primarily all the black award shows, from the Essence award shows, from all the BET award shows. We placed her as assistant, now she's the EVP. But it's really about behavior. So when I go out and I'm talking to students, I'm really talking about how do I navigate that? How do I get in that path? And how do I do what I want to do? And a lot of people will tell you, you know, be you, do your thing. If your thing is not what they need, don't be you. Don't be you. Be what they need. And so you really have to listen, you have to pay attention. There's different environments, like when we just did the tour, you can tell that that's a really quiet environment. So if you're a very loud person, you're probably not going to work in that environment upstairs. So you have to make the adjustment. But to make the adjustment, you have to pay attention. So I probably have done about over 10,000 interviews and placed thousands in the industry. Many that are executives now and many that are climbing the executive ladder. And the biggest challenge when people are calling me, they're usually HR people and sometimes the executive directly. And they're telling me what they want. Not what you guys want, what they want. So you have to be what they need. And if you do that, you pay attention, they'll tell you exactly what they need. And you just have to listen. And so I talk a lot when I go to colleges about humility, which is a modest, low view of one's importance. Not of oneself, but of one's importance. So I own executive temps, I control it, but when you come in and interview with me, it's not about me, it's about you. When I go out to clients and I'm meeting clients and I'm navigating that space to build other opportunities for you guys, it's about that client, it's not about me. Sometimes I'm dealing with people that are in HR that are calling me for the orders that may have 2 years of experience. And I've been servicing, or executive temps have been servicing that client for over 10 years. I know the job better than they do, but I can't come off like that. And sometimes they're just spewing nonsense to me. And I know it. I can't tell them that's ridiculous what you're saying. It doesn't work like that. There's some executives that are extremely difficult, and I know who to send and who not to send. Case in point, we just sent a young lady to Disney just last week, and she was in development, which is exactly where she wanted to be. In 2 days, I get an email saying that they want to replace her. In 2 days, she's right in the space that she wants to be. The reason they want to replace her is because they said that her personality didn't fit. Now, when I met her, she was very reserved, she's a very quiet person. And so, the other woman in the department, I knew very well because we placed her there. And this young lady, 4 years ago, prior to us placing her there, came in, when we called her for assignments, she would answer the phone, how can I help you? We'd introduce ourselves and it was always, how can I help you? And if we told her about assignments, she would, let me check my schedule. So she was arrogant in her approach. So when I caught her, I told her, this is how my office perceives you. So when she came in to pick up her check, this is how my office perceives you, and these are the conversations I had with you. And so your behavior is concerning to me. And so I reminded her that she works for executive temps. We don't work for her. And so I told her, I need to see the Linda that I saw the day you came in and interviewed. That's the Linda that I need to see. And she changed, like that she changed. And she told me, Ted, my parents are always telling me that. You know, thanks so much for letting me know that. And it wasn't more than 3 months later she became full-time. And she's full-time at ABC. So she's talking to me about this young lady that came in a couple of days ago, and they want to dismiss her. Now this girl's passion, desires to work in development. We put her exactly in the spot that she wants to be. And the reason they want to dismiss her is because of her personality. I said, is she too quiet? I said, no, she's loud. She's extremely loud. And not only is she extremely loud, she's too comfortable. And she's only been here a day. She acts like she lives here. You know, like she's been full-time. And so she's done. Not only can I not send her back to that department, many times I won't be able to send her back to that networker studio. So it's all about how you navigate that space. And so you need to make the adjustments that people need you to have made to be in that space. From Paramount to NBC to Warner Brothers to ABC, they're all different atmospheres there. Totally different. So you have to observe, you have to watch. And you have to submit resumes. So there's a lot that I do, and I won't go through it today, on resume writing, on cover letters, you know, on how you approach people, how you engage with them if they engage with you. Phone interviews, which are very different now, and they're doing a lot of phone interviews. They cannot see you, so it's very different. So you have to be more vocal doing a phone interview, and you have to listen, and you can't cut them off. Most interviews, you really want to let the employer do most of the talking. They're gonna ask questions about you. They're not too concerned about your future. The only reason they're asking about your future, if it doesn't line up with their goals, they're not gonna hire you. So when they ask about your future, if you wanna be a writer and you're interviewing for marketing, then you wanna be a marketing. But guess what? The marketing team works with all the writers. So a lot of times it's how do I get in that space? How do I get in the space? Like when I was playing baseball, I wasn't too concerned about what position I played. I was a center fielder. But if they want to put me in right field, I'm not gonna say, hey, look, I'm a center fielder. If you don't have a job for me in center field, then I'm not gonna play. So, you know, if you want to be a writer, but they have something in marketing and it's at a studio or network that potentially can give you what you want, then you be the best marketing person that you can be. So as the video showed, my wife wrote a book on how to leverage a career within the industry. The reason that I love this book is because it's all about engaging you on what they need to know from you and how you need to be successful. It's not a book about her life, but it's a book about the industry. The industry has a culture, and if you don't flow with that culture, you won't get in. There's a reason there's not many people of color in controlling the networks and studios. There's a purpose for that. And my wife has an outreach to HBCUs and a whole internship program. And we're changing that narrative and creating space and opportunity for people. So I know my time is just about up. So I want to give this away. So this is how we're going to do it. You're going to have to grab a piece of paper and a pen. You have to do it quickly. And you're going to write down a number between 1 and 30. Make it very, very big on the paper so that I can see it. One through 30. Now this is just for the students, not for the professors. For the students. Does anyone need more time? Okay. Amir, you want to come up for a second?
Oh, let me see these numbers. Let me see them. Let me see them. Let me see them. Let me see them. All right, we're getting close. All right, all right. We've got some good numbers out there. You want to open up the number and read it to them? Come on, guys. It's a lucky number.
Wow. This is a great number.
Yeah, it's my favorite number.
7.
Come on, lucky number 7.
No one has 7?
7.
Wow.
What is it? What's the rule on Price is Right? If you win over, you win, or you win under, you win. Who had 6 or 8?
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. You got to do this fast. Flip your paper over. Write another number down. Got it. 1 through the same thing. 1 through 30.
1 through 30. Jot down a new number. Oh my God, in my head.
All right, you ready? Yeah. All right, here we go.
All right. Second lucky number. It's 11. Oh! Now we got multiple people with 11.
Okay, how many people have rock, paper, scissors? Who has 11? Okay, all right.
Rock,
You
paper,
have it?
scissors.
Who else has it?
3 people.
3 people.
Birthdays.
Okay. No, I'll tell you what we'll do. You give me your information, and I'll send you a book. Okay.
You write it on that same piece of paper, it'd be great.
And make it short.
You want to jot it down? Jot down a mailing address. Oh, you have
No,
one?
he's
okay.
Just him.
Okay, guys, let's give Ted a big round of applause. Thank you very much, Ted. Okay, so now, for this part of the program, we're going to ask everybody to go get a plate so we can actually have a working lunch. We got to get through this pretty good, but everybody try to get a plate. I'm saying 5 minutes or less and get back to your table so that we can actually start the program.
Thank you very much.
Well, there's sort of,
It's my favorite number too. I'm January 7th.
internx.org. Testing 1, 2. Do we have any AV people in the room? Audiovisual people? Please step up. You may be able to help us out. We are trying to get a Skype connected to, we have the video up, but we don't have the audio. Something we're not doing.
So we're learning organization, so you can teach them and then they can go home today, they learn something new.
Okay, great, guys. All right, for those folks who were able to get the Internet org, if you can navigate through and put your name into their database, it'd be very helpful for us. But what we're going to do now to kind of get through the program.
Can you still see me?
We still got you, sir. We got you.
Okay, good, because you're frozen on this end, but as long as I can still see my picture, you can still see me, I can still hear you, life is good.
Okay, so for the sake of time, what we're going to do is we're going to have you, General Bray, we're going to have you provide some context, because what we're going to do is we're going to have to take your conversation, and then I'm going to have to take the HDMI cord out of this laptop and put another one. So if you can, I'm going to introduce you real quick, and you can say hello to our group. So guys, this person on the screen here, he is my mentor. I produced a couple of things during my development of love of African American military history. I produced a couple of pieces. I was a historian, a curator for museum assets, but I wanted to get better at understanding how to reach military people, because I was a civilian. So I met this gentleman who was trying to help us get a film project to the marketplace called For Love of Liberty. The advertising agency stalled it. The U.S. Army never really saw it until General Bray took the project, and he took it to the desk of the Secretary of Army, and the rest was history. This film won the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Documentary in 2011. We're going to play an excerpt from it. But he's been able to come from different parts of the East Coast to Compton, California, to mentor students, to talk to them about selflessness, being a person who could actually see and envision themselves coming from communities that are underserved to places around the world. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to, again, my mentor, retired Brigadier General Arnold Bray.
First of all, can you, to the gentleman with the sweatshirt and the jean jacket, can you hear me?
Yes.
Next to the young lady with the mustard shirt, okay?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, let me do a couple things first. One is Kevin and I met because, not just because of a love of military history, because that in itself doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, I'm going to talk to you all about military, but only in one sense. This nation and most nations were built because there is a disagreement between other nations, groups of people, etc. As far back as men existed, there have been versions of tribes. This nation is the newest of kinds of nations. I'm going to say that again. This nation is the newest of kinds of nations and tribes. The first ones all used to have the same kind of God, the same complexion, the same tongue. The United States is the evolution of the world. That's important to understand. And so when we talk about the military, any military leader worth his salt understands that the fighting is a last resort. That's the first thing. Fighting is a last resort. Only rookies and stupid people are willing to risk people's lives immediately. War is and I'm gonna use the name of a dead German. His name is Karl von Clausewitz. War is politics by other means. That's why it's supposed to be the last means of politics. Now, but here's what matters. Those who in power used to think that those who were minorities, if you will, couldn't perform under the rigors of combat. And so for a long time, there were myths about who they were, what they were capable of doing. And the people that were being highlighted in the Love of Liberty, the movie, were people that enabled folks like those who are in that room, considered minorities in this particular part of the world, were being denied the ability to participate in war because that was left for the hierarchy. That was left for those who were quote unquote brave. Those who quote unquote had a role in the building of this new nation. And unfortunately, history belongs to the artists, the ones who paint the picture. And more often history was being captured not by the words, but it was being captured by the faces you saw associated with the actions of the group. The very first person to die for the idea of liberty, by design, was Benjamin Banneker, an ex-slave who refused to be brought back into bondage by another leader, this time being called England. He refused it. The story that you're going to see is going to show you several things, and is designed so that while during Black History Month, we are highlighting some of the contributions of citizens of color who contributed to the making and the shedding of blood so they could enjoy the treasure of this new nation. That's what you're going to see. So my meeting with Kevin was basically to ensure that when he and the person, Mr. Martin, who actually put together this package, I called it a gem. And I said, the Army owns it, should own it. And so with passion, purpose, and somebody who's willing to go ahead and fight the fight, we pushed this forward. Similarly, this person, Martin, is also trying to highlight the contributions of Latinos as well as women, because sometimes, again, history goes to the artists. And so the pictures of the Boston Massacre, unless you get the right one, it shows these white guys going to the front, stepping up to the Brits. It also shows you pictures of people who are different. Hold 1 second, please. Okay, Kevin, are you trying to contact me?
Yeah, sir, we're running short on time, so I wanted to be able to try to do a little bit of clip, and then we're going to be able to wrap around. But at this point, if you got another 30 seconds to try to give us some parting words, we're going to put the clip on. So you got about 10 more minutes to try to get through the program.
Absolutely. This whole thing is about making sure that when you're exposed, you are being provided an opportunity to see, one, you belong, we belong. We've been there for the whole part of the fight, and remember, this is not Black history. It's American history in color. Because sometimes we've got to make sure we do that. And that's what you ought to focus on. So that when the story is being told, nobody's leading you down a false trail. So that's what this is all about. I hope you enjoy it because, and by the way, guys, don't get caught up in looking at Halle Berry. But she does make it a little more enjoyable. So with that said, enjoy the movie, guys. Look at it, and folks and teammates, I think you're going to enjoy it. I think you're going to learn a lot. And I wish I was there to hear your questions. And if you do have some, have Kevin shoot me your questions back, and I'll try to give you a response. Enjoy yourselves and enjoy the movie. Thank you.
Thank you, General Brand. This is just a short promotional tape. This was a 4-hour documentary that was on PBS. this, we're gonna do 2 short film screenings. Santa Monica students.
The balls like hail flying all around.
For love of liberty, the story of America's black patriots.
We were fighting for the flag and for our rights.
A historic 4-hour, 2-part documentary film broadcast on public television.
This is not the history of folks of color, it's the history of America.
Hosted by Halle Berry.
For love of liberty.
With an introduction by Colin Powell.
It is a wonderful story.
Narrated by Avery Brooks.
One of the first American heroes of World War II was black.
I had to read 50 books to get what he has put in a 4-hour video.
Men of color to arms.
Unprecedented and critically acclaimed.
The film was amazing.
I think it's a very important piece of work.
It's overwhelming. Our colored soldiers were in it to the end. They fought like heroes and died like martyrs.
And our young people need to know what their fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers did.
The series draws on letters.
Dear Mom and Pop, I can hardly remember what it's like in the States.
Diaries.
Corporal Clinton Greaves fought like a cornered lion.
Speeches.
This 4th of July is yours, not mine.
Journalistic accounts.
I am not a Negro lover. My father fought with most of these Rangers and I was born in the South, but the Negroes saved that fight.
And historical text to acknowledge the sacrifices and accomplishments of African American servicemen and women whose stories are brought to life by America's greatest voices.
I did not volunteer to come here to be called a brave kid. The red tail would roll that wing over and over. We were exposed to a murderous fire from the battery of the fort.
The Negro is not equal to the white man.
We were the ambitious, the patriotic, the adventurous.
I used to ask myself, why the hell should these guys fight? Why?
We have a history that we need to be proud of. We need to cherish it and make sure the future generations actually know.
You won't read too much about what black soldiers did on D-Day. We were there.
This is something that needs to be incorporated in our education system.
Here, the Negroes stood in the full glare of the greatest searchlight, part and parcel of the grandest armies ever mustered upon this continent.
Now, for the first time, this remarkable film has been reformatted for scholastic use.
On the 17th of February, 1919, New York City knew no color line.
It's very important that we know our history, and I think that we all, wherever we come from, do better when we have a greater sense of self.
Okay, guys, yeah, this is just a promotional trailer. Again, this movie's available on Amazon Prime and Netflix. And just to move the show, we've only got a couple more minutes. I wanted to get Rex to come up here. He's going to set up his 1-minute, 27-second proof of concept. So let me cue it up. With Rex, if you can, give him a little bit of the backstory of your film project.
Hello everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say how powerful this is to be among so many content creators and filmmakers. And I've loved hearing all of your stories, and I feel a real sense of community. One of the things that I've heard that's been echoed across the room is how to shape your own narrative. Don't wait for someone to come to you. And what I'm about to do here is give you an example of such a story. So my name is Rex, and I'm originally from Northern California Bay Area. And when I was in school, when I was a kid, I used to really look into movies as a form of escapism, but also a way to kind of connect with the world. So to go to film schools such as USC or AFI is a very big deal for me. And I've worked hard to get to this point. And this story goes back to kind of who I am as a person. Because this story is initiated by me and written by me. And there's a director right there who was willing to trust his vision and as a part of this project. This is told through the perspective of a little girl living in a trailer park during the time of George Bush Jr., the last legs of boy bands, and a little gasoline additive called MTBE, which for those of you who don't know is a gasoline additive that would burn fuel longer, and the only thing is it's barely dissolvable in water, so it could get into soil and affect local communities. In Northern California, from like the late 90s into about 2004, this was a major problem, and I lived in such a community. So this story, told through this girl's perspective, is about the wandering years of childhood and that transition from seeing the world as a fanciful, magical place into something more real. And in the clip I'm about to show you, we see Jessie, the protagonist, and her best friend, who she, in a way, sees the world as such a beautiful place, prepared to leave the park, as most of these people being evacuated will disperse, and her world will forever change. I'm going to show you this clip. And we're a recipient of the PhotoCam grant. I'll get back to that in a second.
Title of the film again?
The title of the film is Furthest From. I'm going to give you some context for this scene. So this is a powerful moment in the script, loosely based off a moment in my life when my friend Damien left my trailer park. And the idea of wanting to not accept things as changing is what we're seeing Jessie. She's hiding from that moment. This film is about a transitional period of coming of age, coming to terms of understanding the world. And what I would like for you to do, actually, for those of you, some of you have leaflets in front of you with the title of the film, Furthest From. There's a website on there that I would really encourage you, if you have your phones on you, to go to www.furthestfrom.com, where if you are interested in being a part of the journey with me, I would encourage you to go onto the website, look into more information on the film, and possibly donate to my project. This film is almost entirely self-funded by people and investors. I'm going out to try to tell a story that I feel is very specific, but also very universal. And if with support with people such as yourselves, I feel like I can make that possible. Yeah, so thank you so much, and you have a nice day.
Okay, as we're getting ready to wrap up, I'm going to set this one up, and the gentleman behind the camera, I'm going to ask him to step forward. This film project is one that we're in development. It's actually the prequel to For Love of Liberty. It's called The Fallen 66. And Lawrence has been working to try and stitch together almost 2.5 hours of content we have in the can. And we haven't been able to really put this thing together like we want to. But George Lucas has supported the project. We've got a lot of stuff that we want to do to compress about 7 years of history into a short documentary. But this documentary is really to try to drive a call to action to get more family members involved in finding the remains of 66 pilots who were killed in action. So without further ado, I'm going to play the clip, and then we'll have Lawrence say a few words. No, you're going to say something. Here we go. I'm actually going to finish short.
Somebody asked the question, who were the Tuskegee Airmen?
Really not a documentary, it's not a movie, it's really a tool to help us do more research and activation for the families. So you won't see this on PBS or Netflix or anything. It's really just, again, a research tool for us to try and activate every resource we can for the families.
somebody asked the question, who were the Tuskegee Airmen? And my immediate response, it was, well, they were just a bunch of good old red-blooded American boys who did what they had to do in the time they had to do it, and they did it well.
We were the biggest fighter squadron in the whole United States Air Force.
332nd Fighter Group, actually, who did bomber escort, which meant they put their life at jeopardy to make sure that the B-52 bombers got home safe.
It's important for the younger generation to know, first of all, the history of the past, but mainly that in order to overcome obstacles, you have to be excellent. The Tuskegee Airmen stands for excellence. We were people who were in college, we were leaders of our group, we were athletes, we were valedictorians.
Our project involves what we're calling now the Fallen 66. It has to do with those Tuskegee Airmen pilots that were killed. Families have not gotten closure. Those of us who don't know that they died need to understand it.
Widows who wanted to know the circumstances, because I've known some of the missions where some of the people were killed. They wanted to know the circumstances, and I told them what I knew. I saw the plane go down, saw it crash, but I didn't know exactly where, because they were trying to locate the remains and where they might have been buried.
Because they were very special men.
Samuel Gordon, lieutenant, was a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Air Corps, killed in action in 1945. But he was a 20-year-old committed to serving his nation, committed to protecting his family, and was willing to sacrifice it all. And he did indeed sacrifice it all.
We're currently investigating the site that we believe to be the location of Captain Lawrence Dixon. The crash site was lost. His remains were never recovered after the war, but as the result of some research by the DPAA, this really appears to be that location. So we're now doing excavations in the hope that we can recover something that we can definitively link to Captain Dixon and thus kind of close the case on what happened to him.
Tell me, weary soldier, from the rude and stirring wars, was my brother in the battle where you gained those noble scars? He was ever brave and valiant, and I know he never fled. Was his name among the wounded or numbered with the dead?
So, but what we do from this point now, I want to bring up a gentleman from the Tuskegee Airmen Scholarship Foundation. Part of their story is to, again, try to help find the families who can actually help bring their loved ones back in terms of their remains to get a burial with with honors. And this project is really a call to action to really give people more awareness about finding ways to research their own family trees as well as their own tribe. And so, again, I want to have Mr. Bryce talk a little bit about the Scholarship Foundation and their role in helping us.
I think it was one of the things that got them to where they are, where they were then and where they are today. Since its inception, the Scholarship Foundation has given over 1,400 scholarships to high school kids entering their first year of college, totaling over $2.7 million. Now, although that may sound impressive, it's only a drop in the bucket in terms of the amount of money and the need in our communities. Now, the foundation, as I mentioned before, was started by original Tuskegee Airmen. And as we looked at this clip behind me just a few minutes ago, two of those gentlemen have died since I've been with the foundation, Leo Gray and Roscoe Brown. These gentlemen are all in their 90s. Two gentlemen serve on our board. One is 99 and the other one is 93. So we're talking about a history that is sooner or later, sooner in the next decade, will be gone in terms of its living history. So part of what we want to do with the foundation is to identify the next generation of aviators, individuals that are interested in aerospace, and most recently we've added STEM to our focus. We identify high-performing, low-income kids and provide scholarships so they can go into those areas. Now, Kevin has been talking to us and working with some of the existing and living Tuskegee Airmen. We want to do whatever we can to support his project. And for you, particularly the younger people, we really are looking for individuals who can help us with our project, particularly in the area of media and social media, and social media in particular. It's not an area that I'm strong in, and certainly if you're 99 years old, you didn't grow up with that technology. But we all understand that it's the way of now and the future. So in terms of being able to help advance the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen, we really are looking for people who can be involved in social media, who can pull younger people into the story of the Tuskegee Airmen and help to celebrate the living legends that are still here. So Kevin will have my information, and if there's anything that you feel that you want to do, I'll be happy to talk to you about that. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity for you guys to be involved. I've heard words about being authentic and pursuing your dream. That's great, and this is a great opportunity for you to do that. So I encourage you to keep on keeping on. So thank you so much.
Is there a way for us to get some brave student to step up and tell us a little bit about the California State University Entertainment Alliance? The one of the persons who sponsored our lunch, Simone Nelson, she couldn't make it, she has an illness. So if we can have a brave representative from the California State Universities come up and say a little bit about what the university system and the alliance has done for them. Anybody? Okay, you'll be the last person to speak because we've gone way over our room time.
Yeah, I don't have to say too much. CSUEA Entertainment Alliance is something that has been set up with all the CSUs. There's 22 different campuses that teach media. I'm from Cal State LA, and everybody from Cal State LA, please raise your hands. Okay. We usually have class today. We have classes on Fridays and Saturdays too. But what the Entertainment Alliance does is they have an internship program in entertainment that covers all of the CSUs. What else do they have? They have development support for faculty. We are able to bring speakers to our campuses. They also set up panels, moderate different kinds of conferences. But what they're trying to do is to get all of the CSUs, which has produced the largest working force in California. It comes from the CSUs, California State Universities, and that's a fact. So what we want to do is really harness this energy into fields of entertainment. And that's why all of our students are here today. So you're going to show the thing from the CSU?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we're going to close it out. And again, I want to do one thing.
Can I ask her a question?
Sure. Sure. Sorry, I'm tired.
I'm sorry, really briefly. What programs do you have in film and media? Concentrations here?
Well, every campus is different. We have
No, I meant the one, Cal State.
Cal State LA. Television, film, and media studies. We have
one is total.
Yeah.
Television, film, and media
studies. We have pathways in writing, in narrative production, in
narrative production,
media and social justice. What else?
Journalism.
And journalism.
But you have narrative production.
Yes, we do, don't we? Yeah. You can talk to any of these people.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna do a tight wrap, but again, I want to thank Amir Johnson, who's on a conference call. We're way over time, so we're biting into his business day. We want to thank Amir Johnson from AT&T. Hold your applause.
Thanks, Amir.
We also want to thank Simone Nelson, who couldn't be with you today. Jay Tucker, UCLA Memes, Digital Pathway Initiative. Juliana Bolden, Hollywood Post Media. She has to show your production, but again, it's going to be a part of a lot of the things we're going to do to publish and distribute content. I also want to thank, probably a lot of people here that I really need to thank, but I want to be able to make sure that you guys understand that this event was, again, my first foray at trying to do something on the AT&T campus. I don't know how many people get a chance to use their facilities and get tours. So this was an experiment of sorts. We wanted to keep it private and small. And so, again, if this thing, again, works out with the mayor, we may be invited back with a real structured program. The theme of this thing was really about Black History Month. That's how I got the room. But it really, again, was about you students being able to understand all the opportunities that you saw today to interface with these guys. We'll need to have you guys try to do as much as you can through Bridget or through your instructors to tell us what your needs are and what it is that you really, again, could use as a resource so we can get better at making these forums more about you. So again, without further ado, I want to, well, I guess Amir's out there in the conference call. But again, I want to thank him and take as much food as you can with you. If you can put it in your backpacks, your pockets, it's all there. All right, thank you guys again for coming out.
Like old dumpling style?
I forgot to also thank Mary J. Foundation. They brought the spaghetti. Turnex, they got the taco plate, and Simone Nelson brought the pizza. Okay, thank you again.
Hi, my name is Veronica Pollock. I attended the keynote speakers today just because we learned a lot just touring the facility at AT&T. After the tour, we got really insightful information on how to really break into the industry, which I feel like I can take away on a day-to-day basis. I'm excited that I was able to make connections here and be able to meet different people from different schools. I think that's really important in this industry because it's all about connections and who you know. So I really enjoyed this event, and hopefully everyone else did too.
All right, thank you very much.
Hey, I'm Nick Novicki. I'm the founder and director of the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, a weekend film competition where you have to have somebody with a disability in front of or behind the camera participate in a film over the weekend. Today, I was honored to be able to come here. Thank you so much, Kevin Clark, for bringing me here to AT&T's headquarters. We had a whole group of students that are talented, that are smart. These are going to be the next Spielbergs and George Lucases, and this is where we're going to see the next Black Panther come from, or the next big hit. And so I was lucky enough to tell people why they need to take part in the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge. And to be able to do that at AT&T, that was pretty special. And so I'm excited to see more events come from Kevin, and beyond that, just to see all these students blow up in their careers. So thanks so much.
All right, thank you.